Welcome to Mortgage on My Mind, where we take the mystery out of mortgages and make dreams of home ownership a reality. I'm Natalie Salins, a top 1% mortgage broker with 20 years of experience, based right here in sunny Los Angeles. If you've ever wondered about pre-approvals, appraisals, or what loan product is right for you, don't worry, I've got Mortgage on My Mind, so you don't have to. Each week, I'll bring you expert advice, real-life stories, and insider tips to help you navigate California's competitive real estate market with confidence. Whether you're buying your first home, refinancing, or just curious about how it all works, this podcast is for you. So let's talk mortgages, demystify the process, and make your real estate goals a reality. Ready to get started? Let's dive in. Hey, everybody. Welcome to Mortgage on My Mind. This is Natalie Salins, and today our guest is Sokha Ngov.
Yes.
I should have really talked about that first.
It's okay. It's a hard one. I get that all the time.
Thank you. It's pretty, very pretty.
Thank you.
Sokha is a Southern California real estate broker and loan officer and eHomes team leader. She handles both property and lending sides of the transaction. She specializes in first-time home buyers, seasoned investors, and complex deals. Operating under a people over profit philosophy, Sokha provides client-focused real estate and financing solutions. So happy to have you on today.
Thank you so much. It's an honor. I'm excited.
Oh, thanks. Yes, me too. I really kind of wanted to start with the idea of you being both a realtor and loan officer and why you decided to do that. And then, of course, like how it's an advantageous thing for your clients.
Yeah. So I've been a realtor for about 20 years now. And
Oh, wow. Okay. Long time.
yeah, I know. I feel like every year that goes by, the number keeps getting bigger. I'm always shook because I remember just the other day I was saying like, I just started real estate last year, you know?
Oh, totally.
Yeah. But, doing real estate for 20 years, after a while, it's okay, this is great. But I love challenges. I always like learning something new. And sometimes, you're just like, what else can I do? So I thought, let me dive into loans. I've actually been wanting to do it for quite some time now. And I thought, you know what? It's finally just time, right? I think the biggest driver for me to get my NMLS license was just the need, because there were so many times where I was out showing borrowers or getting calls from borrowers who wanted to purchase a home, and they were like in that weird kind of space where they're almost qualified, but they were just missing something, right? Or they're just shy, like some closing costs, and the lender wouldn't pre-approve them for whatever reason. And so I thought, you know what, if I could get into the lending space, I'm already, doing their real estate purchase transaction, or, whatever the case may be, then I can help them. This makes it easier. It's kind of like a one-stop shop. It's a lot less stressful when you're only having to remember to, contact one person. And, if they were like, okay, they're short money for an appraisal, I'd be able to jump in and help offer them cover the appraisal, or maybe, reduce a little bit of the cost on the loan side to help them get their foot in the door into their first home. Yeah.
Interesting. And so you've been doing loans about a year now.
Yeah.
How has that felt to you? I mean, when I first started, of course, I was all over the place. It was a long time ago. It was 20 years ago.
I can relate.
So how has it been? To me, it feels like it could be, even though it's not, it's like, it's both really good and also feels almost like a conflict of interest in a small way as well.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? So
Yeah.
has that been anything that you have felt like, you know what, I don't want to do this loan?
Oh, yeah.
I'm going to leave this to somebody who's been like super seasoned. I'm going to let them do this loan.
Yeah, I definitely don't try to touch everything. I only go where it makes sense, right? Like at my brokerage, there's already lenders that are working there. And so if there's like someone who I think is a better fit, I will certainly place my clients with them, just because I think at the end of the day, it really is about, putting the people first. Because if, want to make more money. If I want to make more money and I do the loan, but I'm not the best person for the loan, we end up butting heads, I'm going to lose the deal anyway. So who cares? It's about giving the buyer the best like experience possible, right? Wouldn't you
100%.
say?
Yeah.
And then there's times where it's okay, well, this is what I can do and this is the best I can do. And if they ultimately find somebody better, then great. But at least, my perspective is I didn't lose anything from that. I was able to give them an option. And I always tell them shop. Like, just like if you were to go anywhere, try to at least get like 2 quotes at the bare minimum, no matter how
Yeah.
busy you are. 3 would be best, but 2, that way you know where you're at with your pricing, right? Like you don't want to be the one, paying double the closing costs when you don't have to. And so it's just one of those things. There could be a conflict of interest. It just really depends. I always am very big on disclosing, that doing both, right, could be difficult. But, I feel like at the end of the day, if you're extremely transparent about everything, not just to the borrower,
Yeah.
but to the listing agent and, to escrow, everybody, they'll
Yeah.
appreciate that. And they know, that you're not trying to hide anything. Yeah. Same thing with
How
the
do
brokerage.
how do people react when you tell them you're going to do both? Or like how do you broach that
Yeah.
conversation?
Um, I think for the most part, people are really happy, surprisingly. It's, I don't
Yeah.
know if it's surprising. I think more so than anything, they're just like really thankful. They don't have to make a billion phone calls. And I understand that too, because when you're busy and you're like, oh my gosh, who do I have to call back? Like now I have to check pricing with different lenders and they want me to get multiple quotes. Like a lot of times they're just like, that's great.
Yeah.
So fantastic. So the only time there might be some hesitation is if maybe they have like a friend or a family member who's already doing loans. And at that point, I'm just like, great. Get a pre-approval from them too. Have them
Yeah. Yeah.
help
Yeah.
you. I'm not here to take their business. If you have a great relationship, like have them do it. I'm just
Of
here
course.
to
Yeah.
support you however I can. But for the most part, they love it. How's your experience been? Like I know you do just loans, right?
Residential? Yes.
Residential, yeah.
Yeah.
But so for you, there's no overlap or anything.
Not at all. I
Okay.
mean, so when I got in this business, it was so long ago
Yeah.
that there wasn't an NMLS, there wasn't a licensing system or service.
Oh.
And I had to get my DRE license. So I had to go
Oh.
become a realtor first just to do loans. You needed a DRE because there
Isn't
wasn't
that
any
interesting?
mortgage licensing system. That didn't happen until the meltdown, until
Oh my
after the
gosh.
meltdown in like 2010, right? So when I started in 2006, at the end of 2006, 2007,
Yeah.
it was a DRE license, which was very interesting. And I
Okay.
never used it. I never sold one piece of property. I
Yeah.
immediately went into loans.
Yeah.
At the time, you couldn't do both. You couldn't hold a license in both.
Oh,
And
okay.
even now, depending on the bank that you work, I
Right.
can't do real estate as well in the bank I'm in. Depends on the license you get through the NMLS.
Exactly. Exactly.
Who is the brokerage that you work for loans?
So I work with a company called Equity Smart Home Loans, but because I'm a broker myself, I'm able to hang my hats with different places. I don't have to have just one hat. So
Got
that
it.
is my special ability. So, sometimes you have like a fantastic brokerage for real estate, right? But
Sure.
maybe they don't have like a lending department. And then you have a great, what do you call it, brokerage for loans, and they maybe, have an auxiliary department for real estate, but they don't have like the best tools. And so you kind of want the best of both worlds. So that's why I got my
Sure.
broker's license to be able to pick and choose.
As a realtor, you got your broker's license.
Yes,
Got it.
yes.
Got it. And then, so you're a pure broker when it comes to loans. Like you don't work for a bank.
Correct. I
So
don't work for a bank.
you guys don't fund any of your own loans or underwrite your own loans.
We so we could do correspondent loans. And I guess
Delegated.
yeah.
Yeah.
So it just really depends. I know there's so many like new terminology for me. And I'm like,
Yeah.
whoa, all this happens in the background. So
Yeah.
even though I had like an astute understanding of different types of loans for investors and stuff like that, I didn't realize like what a can of worms I was opening when I got into it. So like you said, it is nerve wracking. It's a ton of information to absorb. I spent like months just staying up late, burning that midnight oil just so I could understand things, And I was like, okay, I
Yeah.
better check my numbers. I don't want to be like do my first file and then closing late by a day. If anything, I'm going to be early.
Yeah.
So,
Totally.
yeah.
That's great. That's great. And what would you say, is since you're a broker, like how does the process look, you know, historically for you when you have the conversation? Like, do you do an application at the beginning with the client, or does it come later? Or is it like, I'm not even going to show you property until I get you pre-approved or have your pre-approval?
Oh, yeah. No, I'm not one of those agents. I'm always, hey, first showing is free kind of deal. And
Uh-huh.
even second and third a lot of times. And it's just because I know that a lot of times people might not even know yet what they want to do, or they think they know, but they really don't, right? Until you get into the thick of it.
Right.
So I like to give them some time and use that time to just build rapport and show them my knowledge and gain their trust, because at the end of the day, you can have them get pre-approved right off the bat,
Okay.
unless you're getting into like the $1 million range. At that point, the caliber is a little bit different. You kind
Yeah.
of have to make sure that they have it, because they're wasting not only your time but the listing agent's time, and the seller has to step out of the house for the showing. It's a lot. You can't just like show looky-loo. But if it's like a vacant home or something, that's not a problem. But I don't necessarily take the application off the bat. Like I never have taken an application just from the first sitting, unless somebody, tells me like, hey, I want to do the application right now. But
Yeah.
there, it's that's I've never experienced that.
I have some realtors that until I give them the word, they won't take a client out at all.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Yeah. I
Yeah.
would love that, but then I feel like there's certainly some business that you're going to lose because of that. And great for them. They're kind of like making sure they don't waste their time. Obviously our time is
Mhm.
the most valuable thing. I wish I could do more of that, but I feel like maybe it's just me, maybe it's just me.
Not at all. Yeah. No,
Yeah,
everybody has their own. I was
yeah,
just asking because when you do both, I was curious. Like, I wonder if you don't
yeah.
go out until you have a because you could.
I mean, ideally, that would be, in a perfect world, that would be great. But I don't think our brokerage even like, I wouldn't say allow, they probably wouldn't like that. But they
Right.
definitely
Of
don't
course.
encourage that. They always want us to get to know our clients first. And so do
For
I.
sure.
Just make sure we're a good fit. And then we can ask those fact-finding questions as we're like looking through the house and just seeing like what, our recommendation for them would be at that point.
Right. Right.
Yeah.
So then hopping into like the investor mindset, why would you think or do think that it's a mistake for an investor to work with a loan officer who doesn't own their own investment properties or work investment with them
Yeah.
for their own portfolio?
You know, I always find it interesting that anybody buys a home from a realtor that doesn't own any property ever, right? Like, yeah, they have some experience, but you can never really truly understand the process until you're in it yourself and emotionally drained and involved. It's the same thing with having
Totally.
an investment home. It's like another baby, especially when it's your first one, at least to me, right? Once you get to like maybe a certain amount, you kind of get used to it and you become numb to the process. But owning an investment property allows you to guide your clients to where, you can help them understand everything because you already know it's already happened to you,
Yeah.
right? It's the experience factor. And that's so valuable. I mean, anybody can say, like, hey, this is going to happen with escrow and stuff like that. But with an investor, it's different because it comes down to the numbers at the end of the day, because they're buying it because they want to make money, so right, either immediately or in the long term with equity, right? So
Right.
if the agent or the lender is not an investor themselves, they don't really know how to calculate those numbers. They're just kind of relying on the investor to say, like, yes, I want to buy the home. But
Sure.
if you can act as that, like, you know, how do you say it? Not necessarily a second set of eyes, but just somebody to kind of bounce off the numbers from, that's
Sure.
helpful. And we're not here to make decisions for them, but we can at least calculate, like, hey, if we're going to do a DSCR loan for you, this is the ratio and this is what you could cash flow, or maybe this one is not going to cash flow you anything. Yeah, are you still going to buy it? Are you going to
Right.
flip it? It just really depends because now you know what questions to ask, right?
Yeah.
Versus someone who's never bought a home, they're just like, am I going to make my commission or what? But here, I want my investors to be successful because if they're successful, next time they're going to buy a home, they're going to want to use me again as a lender because they're like, okay, Soko is really helpful in guiding me. I avoided like a total pitfall because I didn't know that one needed flood insurance, right? That flood insurance could cost them an extra $1,000 a month in payment.
Yeah.
Just some things that people just don't know what to ask for sometimes. So,
Yeah. I have investment property, and I know for sure when my clients who are buying investment property as well,
oh,
it
nice.
is helpful for me to use my own experience in
Yeah.
purchasing investment when we get to talking about it all. It definitely,
Yeah. What state
um,
do you have your properties in, Natalie?
in California. Well, one in New York and but mostly in California. Yeah.
Oh, two of the toughest states, girlfriend, right? Like to be a
No
landlord
kidding.
in.
No
Yeah.
kidding. Yeah. Closing a loan and just a real estate transaction in New York is unbelievable. It's nothing like California. It is 60 to 75-day process. It's crazy there.
Oh my gosh, that would drive me nuts
It's
because
like a real thing. You're dealing with lawyers, there's no escrow. It's a
yeah.
totally different type of transaction.
Oh
Totally
my
different type of
gosh.
transaction. Yeah.
Yeah, my friend was telling me about Oklahoma, and I had referred her out to someone in Oklahoma to purchase. And the first time she bought there, she was like, I was like, so 30 days later, are we closed yet? Do you have the house? And she's like, no, we're still in escrow, another like 30 some days to go. I was like, what?
Totally. I know. I have two escrows right now that are 60 days,
Oh my
and I'm
God,
like,
could die.
oh my God. Because we do things quickly at Movement. That's
Yeah,
our thing, right? So I'm done with a file basically on day 14. Like I'm
yeah,
basically done with everything. And then we just sit normally and wait for escrow to
right.
end. On a 60-day, you're like, all right, so we're going to get everything done by like day 14, 15. And then we're going to talk again like 3 weeks later. Because I'm going to need new pay stubs, new bank statements, new everything for the next month.
Oh my
And then we'll
God.
go back in for that final review. And then we'll sit again for a couple weeks till the end of escrow.
Oh,
So
yeah.
it's like,
Even like 30 days out here could seem long for some
it
agents,
does
right?
seem long. I'm
Because
always
some
like,
of them,
what are we going to do with the time?
yeah, because I'm an aggressive agent, right? So I'll write an aggressive offer to get that deal done for my client. We're competing against 15 people. I'm going to be top three, if not number one. So we're not writing 30 days. We're writing 21 or less.
Totally, totally. And
That's
super
wild.
aggressive contingencies, all of it out here is very aggressive.
Yeah, it
Yeah, East
is. It
Coast
is.
is totally different. Totally different.
Oh my gosh. I'm
Yeah.
glad I'm not going to buy in New York anytime soon. Not
Uh-huh.
after hearing that.
Totally. I mean, it's a great place to buy. Of course, it's a great place to have a second home and things like that, but
Yeah.
it's a totally different situation. Where do you own here in LA?
Oh gosh. Okay. So this is my nightmare property. It's in Lincoln Heights.
Oh,
So it's not
I
too
have
far
one in
from
Lincoln
Chinatown.
Heights.
You do?
I
Oh
do.
girl.
Yeah.
Yeah. So it's just a long story with that one, but I have one in Lincoln Heights. And then
Okay.
there's,
That's good. Just
yeah.
keep it growing. It's all about the asset of it.
I know I try to think long term, but
Think
oh
long
my gosh,
term.
it's a wild one. That's a whole separate podcast, girlfriend.
I know, for sure.
Yeah.
I wanted to throw in there that we have a new DSCR program for so anybody who's listening,
Yeah.
DSCR is debt servicing credit ratio. And what that means is it's a type of loan that we don't need any documentation because if the rents cover the mortgage, basically the investor is good with that. Your credit is
Exactly.
good, you're putting enough of a down payment so the investor doesn't feel like there's a ton of risk in it. And they don't really need or want all of your documentation to see if you qualify. Because if you're purchasing it as investment, if the property qualifies itself, meaning if the rents cover the PITI, the mortgage, taxes, and insurance, they're good with that. They're like, that's all we care about. It covers itself. I don't really care if they can cover their own mortgage and
Mhm.
all of their own debts. And clearly they are because the credit is good enough. So they are able to cover their own debts without us having to verify it. We have a new DSCR loan that has a zero ratio. which is crazy.
Yeah.
So the rents don't have to cover the mortgage at all anymore.
Yeah. I know. It is wild. I've seen those and, you know, it's
I mean,
still
the
not
rates aren't great,
well, yeah, it's a give
but
and take somewhere,
yeah,
but
yeah, the
yeah,
rates
it's great.
are certainly not nearly as competitive as if you can meet the rents or even
Right.
just 75% of the rents, the rates
Mhm.
are better. But at the zero ratio, I just was shocked because out here in LA, it's hard. It's really so much harder to
Yeah.
get the rents to cover.
Oh, I
And
know.
DSCR isn't applicable on many things because it's hard to get those rents to cover.
Yeah.
So in this case, it's just another option available for investors, you know?
Yeah. No, I love it. I love it. The more options, the merrier. But
Exactly. Exactly. Just
yeah.
get them in. Get them. Kidding.
I know there's, and depending on the investor, right? Or like the person, the borrower, if they're buying it to be owner occupied or if they're buying it to like invest in, obviously there's different options. As an owner occupied borrower, you don't have as many options, right? Unless you're self-employed or something like that. In that case, we might be able to do something like the bank statement loans
Sure.
or, you know,
Depletion and all of that. Yeah.
exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah. And even then, asset depletion, you don't even hear of very much, right?
Oh my
Because
God, I do so much.
you do. Oh,
A
okay. Yeah.
ton.
Yeah. Not
Yeah, well,
in
because
that
I
area.
throw it in if anytime my ratios are even a little bit high, I'm like, where's your 401k? Great, we're going to deplete that. And now my ratios are under 50. Fantastic. Like I just throw it in as,
I love it.
anytime the ratio is a little bit high, we're going to
Yeah.
pull in the asset depletion.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. That's
Yeah.
good. So that's something that I can add to my arsenal.
Totally. You can implement that. It's a great way to get people, if they're like, we really want to go to 1.4 instead of 1.3, it's a good way to make that work for them. You're like, well, do you have retirement or something,
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
Or just other properties maybe that they have already paid off, right? They can use that too. Other
Uh,
properties that are paid off.
uh
It's
asset
a little,
depletion from equity. I only know one investor that does that. SG
oh,
Cap. Yeah, it's only
yeah,
one investor I know that will do asset depletion from equity, and they only take like
a certain
you have to
percentage.
take 65% LTV and stuff, and then
Yeah.
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 But there is one investor that I know that does that. Yeah, and
Yeah.
that's great. Yeah, yeah.
Okay.
Well, this was lovely. Thank you so much for joining us today.
Thank you. Yeah, it was fun. It's an honor to be on the show, so
Oh,
I'm excited.
thanks. Yeah, it's
And
an honor to have you.
if I ever get any exciting stories, I'll let you know. Maybe we can revisit and do a different podcast.
Please, I would love that anytime. Absolutely.
Okay,
All right,
Natalie.
everybody, you can find Sokha's information all in the below. And it was great having you all on. I'll see you next time.
Thanks for listening to Mortgage on My Mind. If you're ready to start your mortgage journey or have any questions, I'd love to help. With 20 years of experience, I make the process as simple and stress-free as possible. Check the show notes for my contact info and don't forget to subscribe, leave a review, and share this podcast. Until next time, I'm Natalie Salins, here to help make your real estate dreams a reality.